Brother and sister, gather your attention into this present moment and feel the quiet power rising within you. Because what we explore today is not merely a clever trend or a passing social media whisper, but a living shift in consciousness that is awakening people across the world to a truth that was always waiting inside them. A truth that wealth, opportunity, and abundance do not begin in bank accounts or business deals, but in the invisible realm of thought, expectation, and spiritual alignment. The so-called viral money mindset trick changing lives is not magic, not manipulation, not luck, but a remembering, a returning to the law that what you consistently claim in mind and emotion must find expression in your outer world. And the reason this realization spreads so rapidly now is because humanity is tired of struggle, tired of believing prosperity belongs only to the lucky few, tired of waiting for permission to live richly, joyfully, and securely. And so tonight, I speak to you in a voice of calm assurance, inviting you to recognize that prosperity is not earned through suffering, nor granted through sacrifice alone, but magnetized through alignment with the infinite supply that has always surrounded you. Consider how many people walk through life repeating silent prayers of lack without realizing it. They say, money is hard to get, or people like me never get ahead, or I must work twice as hard for half as much, and each statement becomes a command to the subconscious mind, which faithfully arranges experiences to prove those words correct. The universe does not argue, it simply mirrors belief. And this viral shift in thinking that people celebrate today is simply the decision to reverse those commands, to speak prosperity instead of fear, to expect opportunity instead of disappointment, to look at money not as a rare prize, but as a natural tool that flows toward purpose and confidence. When a person changes inner speech, circumstances begin to reorganize in ways that appear miraculous, yet they are only lawful responses to a new mental blueprint. Many who first practice this mindset trick feel foolish because society has taught them to trust only what they see. But manifestation moves in the opposite direction. One must first see with the inner eye. Imagine standing before a locked door while holding the key in your pocket, yet insisting the door will never open. The moment you realize the key is yours, the barrier disappears. The viral awakening sweeping across conversations, videos, and communities today is nothing more than people discovering that the key was always theirs, the power to claim abundance before it visibly arrives. Now listen carefully, because this is where lives truly begin to change. It is not enough to say affirmations while secretly fearing bills, resenting wealthy people, or expecting disappointment. The deeper work involves emotional conviction. One must feel worthy of prosperity. One must experience gratitude in advance. One must walk through daily life as if provision is already assured. Notice how the confident person receives opportunities without chasing them. Doors open, connections appear, ideas spark at the perfect moment. This is not coincidence, it is alignment. And when we speak of telepathy or energetic communication, understand it not as fantasy but as the subtle truth that human beings constantly transmit emotional frequencies. When your mind dwells in scarcity, others unconsciously sense hesitation and limitation. But when you radiate certainty and calm expectation, people feel safety around you, trust your ideas, invest in your projects, recommend your services, and welcome collaboration. Your mental state becomes a silent introduction, preceding every interaction. The money mindset trick spreading across the world works because it changes that broadcast signal from desperation to assurance. Some ask, if this law is real, why do good people struggle? And the answer is gentle, not accusatory. Goodness alone does not override conditioning. Many kind souls inherit beliefs of hardship, guilt around wealth, or fear of success. They unknowingly reject abundance even while praying for it. Yet the beautiful news, the liberating truth, is that conditioning can be rewritten. Every thought repeated with emotion becomes a new instruction to life itself. I have watched individuals buried in debt begin to speak confidently of freedom, and within months unexpected promotions, creative ideas, or partnerships emerged. I have seen entrepreneurs, on the edge of quitting, decide instead to declare success daily, and suddenly customers appeared through channels they never planned. These stories multiply because consciousness is contagious. One awakened person inspires another, and soon entire communities rise from limitation into possibility. The viral nature of this mindset is no accident. Humanity is entering an era where people realize survival alone is not enough. We seek fulfillment, contribution, and creative expression. Money, when understood correctly, becomes energy supporting purpose rather than a measure of worth. When you release guilt around receiving, you allow circulation. Money flows where it is welcomed and directed wisely. It avoids resentment and fear. And so, tonight, I invite you into a powerful internal rampage, a rising wave of declaration. Wealth is not separate from spirituality. Security is not selfish. Prosperity allows generosity. Imagine what becomes possible when millions of people abandon fear-based competition and instead operate from confident creation. Businesses evolve. Innovation accelerates. Communities strengthen. Families experience relief instead of anxiety. Children grow believing opportunity is normal rather than rare. Picture waking each morning not with dread but expectation. You check messages and find solutions instead of problems. Conversations lead to openings. Ideas generate income streams. You notice inspiration guiding choices, almost as if an unseen intelligence coordinates timing. This is the universe responding to mental alignment. It has always responded, but now people are finally paying attention. And let us speak honestly about effort. This mindset trick does not eliminate work. It transforms work into inspired action rather than forced labor. When belief shifts, effort becomes joyful, energy increases, creativity expands. The same tasks once exhausting become stepping stones instead of burdens. Success arrives not because you struggle harder, but because you cooperate with opportunity. Some of you listening have carried financial fear for years, perhaps decades. You learned to expect disappointment. Yet in this very moment, you can choose differently. Close your eyes briefly and imagine relief washing over your life. Bills paid with ease. Savings growing. Travel, learning, and generosity becoming normal experiences. Feel the gratitude of stability. That emotional rehearsal sends instructions to the subconscious, which then guides behavior, perception, and decisions toward matching outcomes. Notice also how intuition strengthens when fear quiets. People practicing this mindset often report sudden insights. Call this person, apply for that position, invest in that skill, start this project. Acting on such guidance leads to remarkable results. Because intuition speaks from deeper intelligence connected to universal flow. And understand something crucial. Abundance is not only personal. When you thrive, you uplift others. You hire, donate, mentor, create solutions. Poverty consciousness contracts society, while prosperity consciousness expands it. Therefore, choosing abundance is not greed. It is participation in collective upliftment. Many who once mocked these ideas now secretly practice them because results speak louder than skepticism. The viral spread continues because people share stories of transformation. Families leaving financial stress, artists finally earning from passion, workers discovering new careers, entrepreneurs building ethical enterprises. Each success reinforces belief, and belief multiplies outcomes. Tonight, I ask you to release comparison. Someone else's success does not diminish yours. The universe is not limited, opportunity is not scarce. When another person prospers, it proves what is possible for you as well. Celebrate their victories, and you align yourself with similar experiences. As this speech flows through you, let resistance soften. Replace I hope with I know. Replace maybe someday with it is unfolding now. Speak internally with authority. Expect favorable outcomes. Walk with assurance even before evidence appears. Reality will catch up with conviction. Remember, the trick changing lives is not hidden knowledge but consistent application. Daily gratitude, conscious language, emotional certainty, inspired action, generous spirit. These elements reshape destiny. The mind becomes fertile ground where prosperity naturally grows. And as we continue this journey, together, allow every word to plant seeds of confidence, because you deserve stability, creativity, joy, and financial freedom. You are not separate from abundance. You are an expression of it learning to recognize its own power. Step forward mentally, and the path materializes beneath your feet. Opportunities align, support appears. Life responds with generosity equal to your belief. So breathe deeply now, hold the vision of a life enriched not only by money, but by purpose, contribution, and ease. And let this understanding move through you like light, dissolving old fears, awakening certainty, and preparing you to receive more than you previously allowed yourself to imagine. For the viral wave sweeping the world is simply humanity remembering that prosperity is natural, accessible, and already on its way to those who claim it with unwavering faith and joyful expectation. And as this realization grows within you, know that every moment ahead holds potential waiting to meet your renewed belief in what is possible for your life, your future, and the generations who will learn abundance not as exception, but as their normal state of being. And as this awakening deepens, people begin to notice subtle yet undeniable shifts in their daily experiences, small proofs appearing like gentle nods from the universe confirming that their new expectation is being heard. Because the moment you stop arguing for limitation and start welcoming possibility, circumstances reorganize in ways that once seemed impossible. Conversations suddenly bring opportunities. Delays redirect you toward better timing. What first looked like rejection becomes protection, leading you somewhere more aligned. His is not chance. It is the orchestration that unfolds when consciousness changes direction. Notice how fear once dictated financial decisions. People clung to jobs that drained them, accepted underpayment, avoided investments in themselves, and postponed dreams, all because scarcity whispered that risk meant ruin. But the viral money mindset shift teaches something radically liberating. The greatest risk is remaining in fear, because fear blocks perception. When fear loosens its grip, intelligence sharpens, creativity blossoms, and solutions appear. A calm mind sees opportunities that a frightened mind cannot even recognize. And so, when individuals practice this mindset daily, they begin noticing inspired impulses, gentle inner nudges urging them toward growth. Perhaps they feel compelled to learn a new skill, to launch a side project, to reconnect with someone, or to share an idea they once kept hidden. These impulses are the language of abundance guiding expansion. When followed with trust, they often lead to new income streams, collaborations, or innovations. The universe does not drop money from the sky. It guides people toward channels through which prosperity flows naturally. Consider how language shapes reality. When someone repeatedly says, "I am always broke," they reinforce an identity of lack. But when they begin declaring, even before evidence appears, "Money flows to me through many channels," their subconscious mind starts seeking alignment with that statement. They notice job openings, investment possibilities, creative solutions, or partnerships previously invisible to them. The outer world changes because perception changes first. And let us speak of gratitude, for gratitude is not merely politeness, but a powerful magnet. When a person appreciates what they already possess, they shift attention from deficiency to sufficiency. This emotional state signals readiness to receive more. People who practice daily gratitude often report unexpected financial blessings, gifts, discounts, refunds, or opportunities appearing effortlessly. Gratitude tunes consciousness to abundance's frequency. The telepathic dimension of prosperity also deserves attention. Human beings constantly sense emotional states beyond spoken words. When someone carries internal certainty, others feel confidence in them. Investors trust them. Clients feel safe buying from them. Employers see leadership potential. Romantic partners perceive stability. Friends offer collaboration. The inner state silently communicates readiness for growth. This is why mindset shifts produce tangible results across multiple areas simultaneously. Many listeners wonder how to maintain belief when external evidence still reflects past struggles. The answer lies in persistence. Just as seeds planted in soil require time before sprouting, mental seeds need consistent nurturing. One does not dig up a seed daily to check progress. One waters and trusts the process. Similarly, continue affirming prosperity even while circumstances transition. Temporary appearances do not define final outcomes. And understand, abundance is not solely measured in currency. True wealth includes time freedom, health, supportive relationships, creative fulfillment, and peace of mind. Yet financial prosperity often supports these experiences by removing constant survival pressure. When money anxiety dissolves, people think more clearly, love more freely, and contribute more generously. Thus, financial healing uplifts every dimension of life. As this movement spreads, people are also learning to release resentment toward wealth. For years, many associated money with corruption or greed, unknowingly pushing prosperity away. But a healthier understanding now emerges. Money simply amplifies intention. In compassionate hands, it builds schools, supports families, funds innovation, and nourishes communities. When kind individuals become prosperous, the world benefits. And so the new mindset invites people to imagine themselves as wise stewards of wealth, channels through which resources circulate constructively. This perspective dissolves guilt and replaces it with responsibility. Prosperity becomes not a selfish goal but a platform for contribution. When you welcome abundance with generosity in mind, money arrives with purpose. Another powerful shift occurs when individuals stop chasing money and instead pursue value creation. They ask, how can I solve problems? How can I serve? How can I improve lives? Money naturally follows value. Businesses flourish when they focus on helping rather than merely selling. Careers accelerate when people deliver excellence rather than minimum effort. Creativity thrives when passion meets service. Let your inner dialogue become a rampage of empowerment. Tell yourself daily, with conviction, that opportunities seek you, that your talents are needed, that solutions move toward you even now. Replace worry with expectancy. Walk into meetings assuming positive outcomes. Apply for positions believing you are qualified. Offer ideas, confident. Try. This energetic stance alters results more than technical skill alone. And when setbacks appear, interpret them differently. Instead of declaring failure, ask what redirection or lesson is being offered. Often disappointment pushes individuals toward paths far more rewarding than their original plans. Many successful people look back and realize their greatest opportunities emerged from moments that first seemed discouraging. Trust that detours often lead to better destinations. Notice also how generosity accelerates prosperity. When you give freely, whether through kindness, assistance, or financial support within your capacity, you affirm abundance. You declare subconsciously that supply is sufficient. This mindset prevents hoarding fear and keeps energy circulating. And circulation invites replenishment. Another remarkable aspect of this viral transformation is community reinforcement. People now gather in groups, online and offline, sharing affirmations, success stories, and encouragement. Collective belief strengthens individual confidence. When surrounded by people expecting growth, one's own expectations rise. Isolation once sustained limitation, but connection now nurtures expansion. The subconscious mind, deeply powerful yet often misunderstood, accepts repeated emotion-backed statements as truth. Therefore, choose your emotional reactions carefully. Celebrate small wins, speak kindly to yourself, forgive financial mistakes, and move forward wiser. Shame traps progress, but compassion liberates it. Growth begins the moment self-judgment softens. And let us remember imagination's role. Everything created by humanity first existed in imagination. Homes, inventions, art, companies, all began as mental images. Therefore, visualize prosperity vividly. See yourself negotiating confidently, managing wealth wisely, traveling comfortably, supporting loved ones generously. These mental rehearsals prepare consciousness to recognize and receive matching experiences. As belief strengthens, behavior shifts naturally. People start budgeting wisely, investing intelligently, pursuing education, networking confidently. Practical action follows mental alignment effortlessly. Prosperity becomes a lifestyle rather than a wish. And as this speech continues flowing through you, allow any lingering doubt to dissolve, replaced by curiosity and openness. Ask yourself not whether abundance is possible, but how beautifully it will unfold in your life. Expect pleasant surprises. Anticipate favorable turns. Trust timing. Walk forward with calm assurance that unseen forces coordinate in harmony with your renewed expectations, guiding encounters, insights, and opportunities toward you even now, as this collective awakening continues expanding, inspiring countless individuals to rise beyond inherited limitations and step into financial freedom with courage, creativity, and joyful certainty that life responds generously to those who believe in their worthiness and claim their right to prosper in ways that uplift themselves and everyone touched by their success, while momentum continues building through every conversation, every inspired idea, and every courageous step taken toward a future shaped not by fear, but by confident expectation of abundance growing steadily within the hearts and minds of people ready to receive more good than they once imagined. Scovel. Allowing prosperity consciousness to ripple outward through families, communities, and nations as each individual who embraces this mindset becomes living proof that transformation begins inside and expands endlessly through actions guided by renewed faith in opportunity unfolding in ever more surprising and rewarding forms. Feel now how this shift also transforms the way people perceive time and urgency, because scarcity thinking constantly whispers that there is never enough time, never enough opportunity, never enough chance to recover from mistakes. Yet when prosperity consciousness takes root, patience replaces panic, and patience opens doors that force could never unlock. When you stop rushing from fear and begin moving with confidence, decisions become clearer, timing improves, and results multiply, because actions arise from clarity rather than desperation. People who once chased money begin attracting it simply because they operate from calm assurance instead of frantic need. And observe how relationships evolve when money anxiety dissolves. Families argue less about finances because fear loosens its hold. Couples begin dreaming together instead of worrying together. Parents model confidence for children rather than tension, teaching the next generation that wealth is created through belief, discipline, and generosity, rather than struggle alone. The ripple effect stretches far beyond bank balances. It touches emotional health, communication, and long-term vision. This viral mindset awakening also teaches people to release the myth that success belongs only to certain backgrounds or circumstances. Individuals from modest beginnings are discovering that mindset often matters more than starting position. History repeatedly proves that those who transform inner narratives overcome external limitations. When someone decides, deeply and genuinely, that prosperity is their natural state, they begin noticing pathways others overlook. Education opportunities appear, mentors emerge, skills develop faster because belief fuels persistence. And as your awareness sharpens, you may start recognizing how often fear of judgment once prevented financial growth. People hesitated to ask for raises, delayed launching businesses, or avoided discussing money because they feared criticism or rejection. Yet prosperity consciousness encourages bold but respectful communication. It invites individuals to value their work and speak confidently about compensation. When you honor your worth, others learn to honor it as well. There is also immense power in forgiving past financial decisions. Many carry guilt over debts, failed ventures, or missed investments. That guilt acts like an anchor, holding them emotionally in the past. But the moment forgiveness enters, energy frees itself for new creation. Mistakes become teachers instead of prisons. Each lesson gained strengthens future success. Prosperity flows more easily when emotional burdens release. And consider how technology has amplified this awakening. Messages of abundance now travel instantly across continents. People once isolated in limiting environments now connect with communities encouraging growth. They hear stories of ordinary individuals transforming their lives, and hope ignites. Hope then evolves into belief, and belief transforms into action. The speed of information exchange accelerates collective mindset evolution, making prosperity awareness contagious in the most uplifting sense. Another key transformation occurs when people stop measuring progress solely by comparison with others. Comparison often breeds discouragement, yet prosperity consciousness teaches personal alignment instead of competition. Your journey unfolds uniquely. Someone else's timeline does not define yours. By focusing inward, individuals notice personal growth, celebrate incremental improvements, and maintain motivation without jealousy. This internal stability attracts consistent advancement, and let us speak of courage, because embracing abundance sometimes requires stepping beyond familiar comfort. Starting a business, investing savings, relocating for opportunity, or changing careers can feel intimidating. Yet those guided by prosperity thinking learn to trust calculated risk when intuition confirms readiness. Courage does not eliminate fear. It moves forward despite it, supported by belief that growth awaits on the other side. The emotional rampage of empowerment grows stronger when people intentionally saturate their minds with constructive input. They listen to inspiring conversations, read uplifting material, surround themselves with forward-thinking individuals, and limit exposure to constant negativity. Just as nutritious food strengthens the body, positive information nourishes the mind, enabling sustained prosperity consciousness. Notice also how physical well-being influences financial success. When individuals care for their health, energy increases, focus sharpens, and productivity improves. Prosperity becomes holistic, integrating mental, emotional, and physical vitality. Money then supports wellness instead of compensating for burnout. Balance becomes the new foundation for sustained achievement. As belief deepens, people begin noticing synchronicities that once seemed imaginary. Chance meetings lead to collaborations. Delayed flights introduce valuable contacts. Random ideas spark profitable ventures. These events feel orchestrated because awareness now recognizes patterns guiding expansion. What once seemed coincidence becomes understood as alignment responding to focused intention, and generosity continues playing a transformative role. When prosperity-minded individuals share knowledge, mentor others, or support community initiatives, they reinforce abundance circulation. Giving becomes joyful rather than obligatory. Contribution fuels fulfillment, and fulfillment strengthens motivation. Prosperity grows richer when shared, multiplying both materially and emotionally. The subconscious also responds powerfully to visualization practice before sleep, when the mind becomes most receptive. Many successful individuals mentally rehearse achievements nightly, imagining successful negotiations, thriving businesses, or fulfilled financial goals. During sleep, subconscious processing strengthens pathways leading toward these realities. Morning then brings renewed clarity and motivation aligned with envisioned outcomes. Another revelation spreading through this movement is the understanding that setbacks often refine success rather than prevent it. Failed ventures teach strategy. Losses teach caution. Challenges develop resilience. Each obstacle strengthens wisdom required for lasting prosperity. When interpreted constructi veli, every experience contributes to eventual triumph. And listen closely now, because perhaps the greatest transformation occurs when people stop seeking external validation for their financial ambitions. They no longer wait for approval before pursuing dreams. Inner conviction replaces external permission. Confidence grows from alignment with personal purpose, rather than public opinion. Authentic success emerges when individuals trust their own guidance. As prosperity consciousness strengthens, globally, industries themselves begin evolving. Businesses prioritize sustainability, fairness, and innovation because consumers increasingly support ethical practices. Profit aligns with responsibility. Economic growth intertwines with social progress. Prosperity then becomes collective advancement rather than isolated accumulation. Feel how hope expands as you recognize that wealth creation today often arises from creativity rather than physical labor alone. Digital platforms, remote collaboration, and entrepreneurial innovation allow individuals to generate income from ideas, skills, and passions previously undervalued. This democratization of opportunity empowers countless people to rewrite financial destinies. And within this energetic shift, discipline remains essential. Prosperity consciousness does not excuse carelessness. It encourages intelligent planning, saving, investing, and continuous learning. Money flows more confidently toward those prepared to manage it wisely. Financial education becomes an empowering tool rather than intimidating complexity. As your mind absorbs these insights, imagine waves of confidence spreading through cities, towns, and villages. Opal waking each day expecting progress rather than fearing struggle. Imagine conversations centered on opportunity instead of complaint. Visualize workplaces filled with innovation rather than exhaustion. This transformation begins within individuals who dare to believe differently. The telepathic nature of emotional influence ensures that each person embracing prosperity silently encourages others to do the same. Confidence inspires confidence. Hope inspires hope. Communities uplift collectively when individuals shift internally. One person's awakening becomes another's permission to grow. And so, allow this momentum to continue building within you, dissolving hesitation, strengthening conviction, encouraging inspired action, and guiding choices toward expanding possibilities. As more people release inherited fears, claim ownership of their financial futures, and participate consciously in shaping a world where abundance flows through creativity, cooperation, and courageous belief in prosperity, as a natural expression of human potential continually unfolding through thoughts, emotions, decisions, and collaborations that align unseen forces with visible progress, allowing countless lives to transform as this powerful mindset continues, spreading through conversations, experiences, and daily practices, reinforcing the understanding that prosperity grows wherever expectation, gratitude, courage, and inspired effort converge in hearts ready to receive more opportunities, resources, and success than previous generations dared imagine, while momentum continues accelerating through every individual who chooses belief over fear and confidence over doubt, expanding possibilities. Earther as collective consciousness evolves toward greater financial freedom and creative expression in ever-widening circles of influence, shaping the experiences of people everywhere. And as this expanding awareness continues reshaping human expectations, people begin noticing that prosperity is deeply connected to self-perception, because the world consistently mirrors the value you place upon yourself, and when someone silently believes they must settle for less, circumstances obediently reflect that belief. Yet the moment self-worth rises, life begins offering improved conditions, as though responding to an unspoken command. Individuals who once tolerated underpayment or unfulfilling roles suddenly find themselves invited into better opportunities, simply because they now expect fair exchange for their talents and contributions. And it becomes clear that the viral mindset transformation is not merely about attracting money, but about dissolving unconscious barriers that once limited imagination. When the mind releases inherited ceilings, creativity awakens. People begin exploring talents they previously dismissed. A hobby becomes a profitable venture. A casual skill transforms into consulting work. Creative expression turns into thriving enterprises. Prosperity often hides within passions ignored due to fear or practicality imposed by others. Once confidence replaces doubt, hidden potential becomes visible. Observe how decision-making shifts when scarcity thinking fades. Instead of asking, "What if this fails?" individuals begin asking, "What if this succeeds?" That subtle change in questioning opens mental space for planning success rather than anticipating defeat. Solutions appear because attention seeks possibility instead of obstacles. Energy flows toward creation rather than protection. And when people operate from expectation of success, they act differently, speak differently, and prepare differently, making success far more likely. Another transformation emerges in how individuals perceive competition. Rather than fighting over limited resources, prosperity consciousness encourages collaboration. Partnerships replace rivalry. Shared success becomes more appealing than solitary achievement. Businesses merge strengths. Communities pool knowledge. Collective intelligence generates outcomes impossible through isolation. Money multiplies more rapidly when cooperation replaces fear-driven competition. And consider the role of forgiveness in financial healing. Some people harbor resentment toward those who once betrayed them financially or exploited their trust. That resentment anchors them emotionally to scarcity. But when forgiveness arises, not to excuse wrongdoing but to release emotional captivity, energy once trapped becomes available for new creation. Forgiveness liberates mental space necessary for prosperity to enter. Telepathically, humans sense emotional confidence more than spoken credentials. Someone walking into a room with inner certainty attracts attention without trying. Clients feel reassured. Investors perceive stability. Opportunities gravitate naturally toward those who embody calm assurance. This silent communication often determines outcomes more powerfully than resumes or proposals. Inner alignment transmits trust invisibly yet effectively. And as prosperity awareness spreads, people increasingly realize that financial intelligence can be learned at any age. Youth is no longer the sole advantage. Adults in midlife discover new careers. Retirees launch ventures aligned with passion. Digital access allows knowledge acquisition globally, empowering individuals previously excluded from economic opportunity. Lifelong learning becomes a gateway to renewed prosperity. Notice also how emotional resilience strengthens when prosperity consciousness develops. Temporary financial setbacks no longer shatter confidence because individuals trust their ability to rebuild. They understand income can be recreated, opportunities rediscovered, and wealth regenerated. Fear of loss diminishes when belief in personal capability expands. Confidence becomes the true safety net, and many now discover the power of environment in shaping financial destiny. People intentionally place themselves in spaces where ambition thrives, where conversations revolve around solutions rather than complaints. They attend workshops, network with entrepreneurs, join communities encouraging innovation. Surroundings influence thinking, and thinking shapes results. Prosperity becomes easier when one's environment supports growth. Let the internal rampage continue growing stronger, declaring silently and repeatedly that wealth creation aligns with joy rather than exhaustion. That work can be fulfilling. That success does not demand sacrifice of health or happiness. This new paradigm replaces outdated beliefs equating wealth with burnout. Prosperity now harmonizes with well-being, creativity, and balanced living. And consider how trust and intuition expands as fear diminishes. Many prosperous individuals describe moments when logic alone could not explain decisions leading to success. They followed inner guidance toward partnerships, investments, or career moves that later proved transformative. Intuition speaks quietly, but prosperity consciousness amplifies its clarity. Trusting this inner voice becomes a powerful tool for navigating opportunity. The movement also encourages mindful consumption. Instead of spending impulsively to compensate for emotional dissatisfaction, individuals invest intentionally in experiences, education, and assets supporting long-term growth. Financial discipline arises naturally when inner fulfillment increases. Money becomes a resource directed consciously, rather than spent unconsciously. As mental alignment strengthens, people experience a renewed sense of possibility regarding generational impact. Parents begin teaching children financial literacy early. Families discuss investment, saving, entrepreneurship, and value creation openly. Prosperity shifts from individual pursuit to family legacy. Future generations inherit not only wealth but empowering beliefs about opportunity. And as awareness expands globally, cultures once hesitant to discuss money openly now embrace financial education and entrepreneurial innovation. Communities empower young minds to create solutions rather than wait for employment. Economic empowerment spreads through shared knowledge, mentorship, and access to digital platforms connecting creators with global markets. Another dimension unfolds when individuals align financial goals with personal purpose. Money earned through meaningful contribution brings deeper satisfaction than income obtained solely for survival. Prosperity consciousness guides people toward careers or businesses aligned with values, creating motivation stronger than necessity alone. Fulfillment and financial success become partners rather than opposites. And as internal belief solidifies, procrastination weakens. Individuals no longer delay important decisions or opportunities because confidence replaces hesitation. Action becomes natural, momentum builds. Each completed step reinforces belief, encouraging further progress. Success compounds through consistent movement guided by clarity and optimism. Telepathically, enthusiasm also transmits powerfully. When someone genuinely believes in their project or service, others feel that excitement and respond positively. Investors support passion. Customers trust authenticity. Energy becomes persuasive beyond words. Prosperity follows enthusiasm grounded in genuine value creation. And let us speak of adaptability, for prosperity requires flexibility in changing circumstances. Markets evolve, technologies shift, industries transform. Those guided by prosperity consciousness adapt swiftly, seeing change as opportunity rather than threat. Innovation replaces resistance. Growth continues through willingness to evolve. The subconscious mind also responds strongly to repetition combined with emotion. Daily affirmations spoken with feeling gradually override negative conditioning. Statements such as "I welcome increasing prosperity" or "I am guided towards successful opportunities" reshape inner expectations. Over time, these expectations manifest through changed perception and behavior. And as more individuals embody abundance thinking, society gradually normalizes success stories previously considered rare. Entrepreneurship becomes common. Financial independence appears attainable. People no longer view wealth as unreachable, but as achievable through creativity, discipline, and mindset alignment. Possibility expands collectively. Feel how the emotional tone surrounding money shifts from tension to curiosity, from fear to excitement, from resignation to determination. Financial conversations become constructive rather than stressful. Couples plan investments. Friends discuss ventures. Communities celebrate innovation. Prosperity becomes shared aspiration. And as this speech continues flowing like a current of assurance through every listener, allow imagination to stretch beyond previous limits, welcoming visions of thriving enterprises, comfortable living, generous giving, meaningful contribution, and financial stability spreading through households everywhere as individuals awaken to their ability to shape destiny through consistent belief, disciplined action, emotional resilience, and inspired collaboration that steadily transforms personal and collective realities, allowing opportunity to expand through countless channels as people embrace creativity, cooperation, and confidence, guiding them toward increasingly prosperous outcomes supported by evolving technologies, shared knowledge, and renewed faith in humanity's capacity to create abundance for all who align intention with inspired effort, while the momentum of this mindset continues amplifying through each decision, each conversation, and each courageous step taken toward financial empowerment, strengthening communities and expanding possibilities across generations. And as this awakening res further within individuals, they begin to recognize that prosperity also requires releasing the habit of waiting for perfect conditions, because perfection often disguises procrastination, and countless dreams remain unrealized simply because people delay action until certainty appears. Yet certainty rarely arrives before movement begins. Those aligned with prosperity consciousness learn to start where they stand, using available resources, trusting that clarity grows through action. Each step taken reveals the next, and confidence strengthens through experience rather than speculation. Another subtle transformation occurs in how people perceive mistakes. Instead of interpreting errors as proof of inadequacy, they now view them as necessary adjustments guiding refinement. Businesses pivot, strategies evolve, skills sharpen, and resilience develops through trial and correction. Prosperity thinkers understand that missteps are tuition paid to the University of Experience, and those lessons often prevent larger failures later. Progress emerges not from flawless execution but from persistent learning, and observe how communication itself becomes a powerful prosperity tool. Individuals practicing abundance thinking speak with intention. They articulate visions clearly, negotiate respectfully, and present ideas confidently. This clarity attracts collaborators who understand and support shared goals. Opportunities frequently depend not only on talent, but on the ability to express potential convincingly. Communication becomes a bridge connecting dreams with resources needed to realize them. The viral spread of this mindset also highlights the importance of financial boundaries. Prosperity consciousness encourages generosity without self-sacrifice. People learn to support others wisely while protecting their own stability. Healthy boundaries ensure that assistance uplifts rather than depletes. By balancing compassion with responsibility, individuals maintain the strength necessary to continue creating prosperity for themselves and others. And as belief strengthens, individuals begin noticing how subconscious habits previously sabotage progress. Overspending, avoiding financial planning, or neglecting savings often stemmed from emotional patterns rather than logic. Through awareness, these habits transform. Mindful spending replaces impulse buying. Strategic saving replaces avoidance. Conscious investing replaces fear. Financial behavior evolves naturally alongside mental alignment. Another powerful revelation spreading through communities is the understanding that wealth often flows toward innovation solving real problems. People shift attention from seeking jobs alone to creating solutions addressing needs around them. Entrepreneurs identify inefficiencies, develop services, design products, or build platforms improving lives. Money then becomes compensation for contribution. Creativity becomes currency. And let us speak of confidence in negotiation, because many individuals once accepted less than they deserved simply to avoid discomfort. Prosperity consciousness replaces hesitation with respectful assertion. Individuals learn to advocate for fair pay, beneficial contracts, and mutually rewarding partnerships. Negotiation becomes collaboration rather than confrontation, leading to outcomes supporting all parties involved. Telepathica. Confidence transmits even through digital communication. Emails written with clarity and assurance receive faster responses. Virtual meetings conducted with calm conviction inspire trust. Online presentations delivered with enthusiasm attract clients globally. Energy travels beyond physical presence, influencing perception across screens and distances. As financial awareness expands, people increasingly recognize the importance of multiple income streams. Depending solely on one source feels risky in an ever-changing economy. Prosperity-minded individuals explore investments, side ventures, freelancing, royalties, or passive income opportunities. Diversification provides security and freedom, allowing creativity to flourish without constant survival pressure. And as mental alignment deepens, fear surrounding economic fluctuations lessens. Prosperity thinkers understand cycles exist but trust their adaptability. When markets shift, they seek emerging opportunities. When industries transform, they learn new skills. Instead of resisting change, they ride its momentum, discovering possibilities hidden within transition. Notice also how confidence in receiving expands alongside generosity in giving. Many people once struggled to accept help or opportunities due to feelings of unworthiness. Prosperity consciousness dissolves this barrier. Individuals welcome support graciously, understanding that receiving allows others the joy of giving. Circulation requires both flow outward and inward. Another fascinating transformation occurs when people align financial pursuits with environmental and social responsibility. Businesses now seek sustainable practices, ethical sourcing, and community support while remaining profitable. Prosperity evolves beyond individual gain toward collective advancement, where economic growth harmonizes with planetary care and social well-being. And the internal rampage continues intensifying as individuals affirm their capacity to overcome inherited limitations. Family histories of struggle no longer dictate future outcomes. Generational narratives shift as children witness parents breaking cycles, achieving stability, and modeling financial wisdom. Hope replaces resignation. Possibility replaces limitation. Consider also how visualization combined with strategic planning accelerates success. Dreaming alone lacks direction, but when vision pairs with measurable goals, timelines, and actionable steps, imagination transforms into reality. Prosperity consciousness encourages both inspiration and organization, ensuring dreams move from concept into execution. And within professional environments, leadership styles evolve through abundance thinking. Managers encourage creativity rather than enforcing fear. Teams collaborate openly. Innovation flourishes where psychological safety exists. Productivity rises when employees feel valued and empowered. Prosperity within organizations emerges from respect and cooperation rather than control. The telepathic dimension extends further, influencing collective morale during times of uncertainty. Leaders who project confidence and clarity inspire teams to persevere through challenges. Communities rally behind hopeful messaging. Emotional tone spreads rapidly, shaping economic resilience across societies. As prosperity awareness grows, individuals also invest more intentional. Why in personal development? Courses, mentorship, books, and workshops become tools for advancement rather than optional luxuries. Education continues beyond formal schooling, enabling continuous adaptation to evolving opportunities. Learning becomes lifelong fuel for financial growth, and many begin recognizing the profound link between emotional regulation and wealth creation. Impulsive decisions often arise from unmanaged emotions. By cultivating patience and mindfulness, individuals make wiser financial choices. Calm thinking leads to sustainable prosperity, while emotional reactions often result in unnecessary losses. Another significant shift occurs in how people define retirement. Rather than viewing it as escape from work, prosperity thinkers aim for financial independence, allowing continued engagement in meaningful activities. Work transforms into passion-driven contribution rather than obligation. Income continues flowing through investments or ventures aligned with personal interests. Observe how gratitude practices deepen appreciation for progress already achieved. Instead of constantly chasing future success, individuals celebrate current stability and milestones reached. Satisfaction coexists with ambition, creating emotional balance supporting long-term fulfillment. Prosperity becomes both journey and experience rather than distant destination. And as momentum continues spreading through conversations, workshops, digital platforms, and personal testimonies, countless individuals awaken daily to new possibilities. releasing fear-based thinking, and embracing confidence, guiding them toward expanding opportunities as creativity ignites. Collaboration strength. ENS. And inspired decisions open channels through which resources, partnerships, and innovations continue flowing into lives ready to receive increasing prosperity, supported by evolving technologies, global connectivity, and renewed trust in human potential, encouraging people everywhere to pursue dreams previously postponed, while building financial futures grounded in wisdom, resilience, generosity, and courageous belief that abundance expands wherever intention aligns with purposeful action, strengthening families, communities, and industries through shared success, as this movement continues accelerating through each person who chooses empowerment over limitation, shaping realities where opportunity multiplies through cooperation, imagination, and determination, guiding individuals steadily toward greater security and creative fulfillment across generations, experiencing the ongoing transformation inspired by prosperity consciousness awakening within humanity. And as this consciousness of abundance continues to ripple through hearts and minds, people begin noticing how often old mental patterns dictated financial behavior without their awareness. Habits formed from fear, scarcity, or societal expectation no longer hold dominion over those who consciously choose alignment with prosperity. Each morning becomes an opportunity to reset, to declare new intentions, to reinforce the belief that wealth, opportunity, and success are not distant prizes but natural extensions of inner alignment. The mind, once cluttered with not enough, begins to hum with expectation, noticing possibilities that were always present yet previously invisible through the lens of limitation. And in thee is awakening. One realizes the power of patience coupled with unwavering faith. Many seekers of wealth have rushed, compelled by fear, attempting to force results prematurely. Prosperity consciousness teaches the opposite: move with inspired action, yes, but also trust timing and process. Opportunities arrive not only in accordance with effort, but in perfect alignment with readiness. What seems like delay is often divine orchestration, redirecting energy toward the optimal path. The universe never withholds, it merely prepares fertile ground for ideas, resources, and people to converge at the perfect moment. Those who understand this no longer react impulsively, they act intentionally. Notice how daily rituals shift. Practices once trivial take on profound significance. Morning affirmations, journaling, visualization, gratitude, and intentional breathing transform consciousness from reactive to creative. When repeated consistently, these rituals plant seeds in the subconscious, which then begins arranging outer circumstances in harmony with inner expectation. Dreams begin to manifest in tangible, measurable ways, often far exceeding prior imagination because the subconscious mind does not limit possibility. It only reflects the intensity of belief. And the more consistent the practice, the faster life responds. And consider the subtle art of emotional magnetism. People with prosperity consciousness exude calm assurance and positive expectation, not arrogance or desperation. Their presence attracts clients, collaborators, investors, and mentors, often without overt effort. Human beings are attuned to energy far more than words. They sense confidence, focus, and optimism. This silent communication guides others to open doors, extend opportunities, and offer support. In essence, prosperity begins as a state of being communicated telepathically through presence and attitude before it appears as currency. And as one's perspective evolves, so too does risk. Previously, risk was synonymous with fear, often paralyzing action. Now, risk is reinterpreted as potential for expansion. Calculated risks, informed by discernment and intuition, become stepping stones rather than threats. Ventures once abandoned due to what if it fails now proceed with quiet confidence. Even temporary setbacks are reframed as learning accelerators, guiding individuals toward refined strategies and better outcomes. Failure loses its power to intimidate because it is now understood as integral to the creative process of wealth manifestation. Another layer of this viral mindset is understanding the multiplicative power of ideas. Thoughts, once scattered or self-limiting, become concentrated sources of creation. Focused intention turns a single inspired concept into multiple avenues of income. A single product, service, or innovation expands naturally into diversified offerings. Those attuned to opportunity Notice how one breakthrough often opens 10 unseen doors. The universe reflects mental clarity with extraordinary synchronicity, transforming concentrated vision into exponential results. And as the field of prosperity grows, the role of mentorship becomes unmistakable. Individuals who have internalized abundance begin sharing knowledge, guidance, and insight with others. Teaching and guiding others not only amplifies impact, but reinforces internal alignment. Every person uplifted becomes a node of influence, contributing to the viral propagation of financial consciousness. Communities evolve where knowledge flows freely, rather than hoarded, and collective advancement becomes the natural byproduct of personal success. Consider the power of language, both spoken and thought. Every word articulates intent, whether consciously or unconsciously. People practicing this mindset observe their self-talk meticulously, replacing "I can't afford this" with "I have access to the resources I need." Even casual phrases carry weight. Gratitude expressed for current resources multiplies them. Statements of expectation, spoken with emotional conviction, signal readiness to the subconscious and the universe alike. Words become tools of creation, shaping reality moment by moment. And in these evolving dynamics, one observes a shift in perception toward money itself. It is no longer feared, demonized, or viewed as scarce. Money becomes energy, a channel through which service, creativity, and contribution flow. The fear of losing it dissipates, replaced by awareness that wealth circulates naturally and expansively. When one participates in this flow consciously, receiving and giving, financial abundance grows organically. This energy exchange becomes self-reinforcing, multiplying outcomes beyond what effort alone could produce. Another profound awakening occurs in the intersection of inspiration and action. Ideas are abundant, but action aligned with intention transforms them into tangible results. Prosperity thinkers act decisively on intuitive impulses, recognizing these as guidance from the universal intelligence surrounding them. They observe opportunities, appearing as subtle coincidences or sudden inspirations, and respond without hesitation. Action, fueled by faith, clarity, and alignment, accelerates manifestation, producing results that appear miraculous only to those still tethered to fear. And as mental alignment strengthens, individuals experience the subtle yet undeniable law of resonance. They attract resources, collaborators, and clients whose frequency matches their own. Shared vision and shared expectation create partnerships that amplify growth. Even distant opportunities, seemingly random, often align perfectly when resonance is present. Prosperity in this sense is both the destination and the vibration that magnetizes the journey. Notice how resilience transforms. Financial shocks, market changes, or unexpected obstacles no longer provoke panic. Individuals anchored in prosperity consciousness respond with problem-solving clarity, resourcefulness, and emotional stability. Challenges become temporary detours rather than permanent blocks. The mind, trained to perceive abundance, locates opportunity hidden within every difficulty, reinforcing the understanding that limitation exists only when attention is placed there. And as this mindset spreads virally, the collective imagination itself evolves. Previously inconceivable ideas about wealth, work, and contribution begin to normalize. Entrepreneurship, creative income streams, and financial independence are no longer rare aspirations but increasingly common expectations. Society adjusts to accommodate those who think differently about money, opportunity, and collaboration, making success not just possible, but increasingly probable for those willing to adopt the new consciousness. Generosity remains a central pillar of this transformation. Giving, in ways both large and small, circulates wealth and reinforces abundance. It is understood that energy multiplies when shared. Acts of kindness, mentorship, investment in others' ventures, or support for community projects not only uplift recipients, but strengthen the giver's alignment with prosperity. Each act of conscious contribution signals faith in abundance, prompting reciprocal returns from the universal flow. And as self-perception evolves, individuals recognize that they are not limited by past failures, inherited beliefs, or societal conditioning. The narratives that once restricted thinking are rewritten through daily affirmation, visualization, and inspired action. Past limitations are reframed as lessons rather than barriers. Identity expands from one conditioned by scarcity to one defined by capacity, possibility, and creative authority. Every decision, interaction, and choice now carries the energy of expectation rather than doubt. Notice how gratitude enhances perception. Daily acknowledgement of existing abundance, even in small measures, changes emotional tone, attracting further prosperity. Those practicing gratitude consistently observe opportunities, resources, and support appearing more readily. The practice of thankfulness, far from passive reflection, becomes a magnetic force, creating momentum that transforms intention into reality with increasing ease. And as people internalize these principles, networks of influence strengthen naturally. Prosperity-minded individuals connect, share insights, support ventures, and inspire each other to higher performance. Collective energy multiplies individual efforts, producing outcomes far beyond what any one person could achieve alone. The viral nature of this mindset accelerates precisely because successful expectation, clarity of vision, and consistent action are contagious. Transmitted silently through presence, example, and shared intention, this awakening also emphasizes alignment with personal purpose. Work pursued not only for financial gain but for meaningful contribution generates intrinsic motivation, creativity, and resilience. People discover opportunities that simultaneously fulfill purpose and produce income. Success is no longer solely measured in currency, but in the harmonious integration of value creation, personal satisfaction, and financial freedom. And as this energy continues spreading, individuals increasingly adopt habits reinforcing long-term prosperity. Strategic planning, disciplined saving, wise investing, ongoing learning, and health-conscious living become natural extensions of mindset rather than imposed obligations. Prosperity becomes embedded in daily life, not as a goal to chase, but as an inherent expression of alignment, clarity, and conscious creation. Opportunities multiply, resources appear, and life unfolds in ways that respond to intention with remarkable synchronicity, generating momentum that continues to expand through every inspired choice, collaboration, and action, guided by the belief that abundance is natural, accessible, and already flowing toward those prepared to receive it.